Come, ye tug muttons, and listen to our tooth music.
Welcome to the Dreams of Consciousness podcast. If you'd be so kind, would you mind introducing yourself?
This is Malik from Hyperdontia. I'm the bass player.
And how would you describe the music of Hyperdontia?
We play death metal. We have been playing death metal since we were quite young. Mustafa and I, we met in 2005 or 4. I'm not 100% sure. In Istanbul, Turkey. And we were both listening to death metal and we just wanted to play death metal. Of course, we have our style changed since we started playing. Back then, we were listening a lot of brutal death metal. And it was, I think, a little bit more popular back then. Like bands like Suffocation, Disgorge, Deeds of Flesh, and early Cannibal Corpse. So we were playing more brutal death metal back then with a band called Decaying Purity. And with time, we started listening to different kind of death metal, like more European, Northern European, like bands for like Demigod or Finnish, Swedish, all these death metal bands. And this happened actually more. We started listening to that kind of European death metal more after we met actually Jihan, or people might pronounce his name as Sihan, from Burial and Invocation. And he also plays guitar. He used to play guitar in Cenotaph. So he introduced a lot of bands to me, like bands from Europe that I was not aware of. I think our style and playing has changed since we met him.
Would you say that Hyperdontia... Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something else?
Invocation. Sorry, I was talking about Burial and Invocation. And it's too long that I'm talking about all this, but...
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
But I think it has a lot of effect on the way that we are playing right now, that band. I mean, personally, to me. Yeah, so Hyperdontia in general, I think, how I see it, there is a lot of American influences because we listen to a lot of American death metal, like Morbid Angel, Incantation, Suffocation, Cannibal Corpse, D-Side, all these bands. But we also like and listen to European bands, mostly Finland-based, and also a lot of black metal. Our guitar player, Mustafa, likes. So I think there is a really good mix in between Europe and United States bands in Hyperdontia. Maybe I would just describe our band as both American and European influenced death metal band.
Now, would you say Hyperdontia's riffing style also has a lot of thrash elements to it?
I think so. I mean, we all grew up with Slayer and Testament and Metallica. And of course, there is, and I know that Mustafa played Slayer songs for years, like when he was 17, 18. So yeah, I'm sure there is a lot of influence on thrash metal too. Yeah.
So I should mention that you and Mustafa are also in the band Diabolizer.
Yeah.
And I did a Q&A with, I believe, your vocalist, Ali.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which appeared on the blog earlier in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With regards to Hyperdontia, can you tell me a little bit about how the band came together, the different members meeting each other? How did you guys all meet?
Yeah, I told how I met Mustafa, but I used to live in Turkey. I'm Turkish. I moved to Denmark in 2014. And Mustafa and we are old friends, and we wanted to keep playing together. And he had a lot of songs that he was not using for any of his other projects. And he said that he asked me if we should start a kind of like a home project. We should play together. And I knew David and Tuna from the scene here. Mustafa knew him too from Killtown Deathfest that we played together in 2010. I just asked them if they want to be part of it, and they said, sure, let's do it. And then we just recorded 3 songs, and that's how we formed the band.
Now, you mentioned all the different styles that you and Mustafa were interested in. Did you already have an idea of what kind of music you wanted Hyperdontia to be?
Not really. I mean, we didn't really talk about how we should play or what to do. It just, as I mentioned, they were all Mustafa songs. He just sent us, and we just recorded our instruments on them. But I think Mustafa is influenced by many different genres in death metal. Yeah. But we didn't sit down and talk about, let's do this and that, and we should do it. We should play music and it should sound like this or that. We didn't really talk about that.
Does Mustafa write all the songs himself?
Abhorrence Whale EP, Nexus of Teeth, he has written all the songs. Also the Excreate from the Flesh EP, it is EP. The lyrics written by David, the early stuff, early recordings. And one of the lyric was written, stapled down by Julian from Feated. But the music, the early, like everything by the newest album was written by Mustafa. I had maybe a couple of riffs in Vestal Forlorn. Yeah. But Hideous in entirety, I have a lot of riffs, but the main structure or the arrangement and the songs written by Mustafa, mostly. Yeah.
How does he usually send the songs to you guys? Does he do demos with programmed drums and then send it out?
He records the guitar himself, and then he writes all the tabs on Guitar Pro, and then he writes the drums on Guitar Pro too. But Tuna changed them a lot when he records them himself. And we are really happy that he doesn't just play what Mustafa writes, because it gives a lot to the band. And then I write my own parts. Yeah, that's how we do it.
So I believe you mentioned your former vocalist, David. You have a new vocalist now, right?
Yeah, Matthias has been playing guitar since the Killtown 2018 or 19. I don't remember what year it was. This last couple of years has been a bit chaotic with lockdowns and stuff. So, yeah, Matthias was playing guitar, and after David left, we didn't want to get a new vocal. We just wanted Matthias to do the vocals. We all like his voice in a way. So, yeah.
Has Matthias done vocals for any other projects?
Yeah, he has another band, Sulpherous, together with Tuna. I also recorded the bass on it on their last album. He has a hardcore band, which he has been playing quite a long time, called Night Fever. He also plays in a band called Taphos, and their drummer is Turkish too, actually. What else? He has Ascendancy. I think that's about it. He's a busy guy.
All you guys sound pretty busy with all the projects that you guys have.
Yeah.
Is there an attempt to keep the music separate, keep the band separate in terms of, I know Mustafa writes most of the material, but in terms of the style for Decaying Purity, or the kind of riffs that he uses for Hyperdontia and Diabolizer? I
think it just happens naturally when he plays something. Oh, this sounds like Hyperdontia. Or when he plays something, I think he feels what the songs are going to be for, or what band is going to be for. But I don't imagine him just sitting down and just like, now I have to write songs for Hyperdontia, I think it just happens naturally. That's what always he says anyway. And the same with me when I write some riffs or when I play around. I feel like, oh, this is something I should send to Mustafa and he can maybe use it for something. And it works fine like that.
So let's talk about the new album. Your second album, Hideous Entity, was released on November 12th of this year. Can you tell me a little bit about how the album came together and how long you guys have been working on it?
We recorded the album actually last year from January till March or something. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I sent what I been writing on Guitar Pro to Mustafa, and he had quite a lot of songs before. Maybe like he had been writing like 2 years. It's like he doesn't just sit down and just write albums. I think he has a lot of riffs and songs, structures, and then he sits down and arranges them like a month or two, and then he records them in like a week. He's very fast at recording. He's really good at it. And then he just sent us. Most of the time we don't have so much to say because that, like, for us it's just perfect the way he does things. And if we have some ideas, we just tell him, hey, should we do this and that? And then he most of the time accepts it. Everything is very smooth, as I can say, if I can say, yeah.
In terms of the music, how would you compare Hideous Entity to your previous album, Nexus of Teeth?
I think recording it sounds much better and bigger and more powerful. I wasn't so happy with the production of the first album. I mean, that's just me. I'm not sure what the others think. And I really like David's voice, but I think Matthias brought us a kind of different energy to the band. I think he sounds more like on the American death metal side. Yeah, I mean, it's much more powerful, the new album, compared to the old one.
Did you guys have any intention to do anything differently this time around?
You mean writing songs or?
Yeah, in terms of the songs.
Yeah. We haven't planned anything yet. We just want to play these songs, and we want to play as many concerts as possible, and maybe tour a bit, and then we can focus on the new album.
In terms of writing Hideous Entity, did you guys have a different mindset than you had for your previous releases?
Yeah, I think so. It happened during lockdown, and the other album was, personally, I think it was more chaotic for me, the first album, when I was recording. But I think this album, Hideous Entity is, we all knew what we are doing more than before, I think I can say.
All the individual members recorded their own parts for the album, including Tuna. I believe Tuna has his own studio, right?
Yeah.
So your drummer Tuna recorded his parts at his studio. Is it Diabolizer Sound?
Diabolizer Sound, yeah.
Diabolizer Sound. Who actually puts everything together? Is it Mustafa?
You mean the drums or?
No. In terms of putting the tracks together once everyone has recorded their individual parts.
Oh yeah, it was Greg actually from States, Earhammer Studios. He mixed them. Actually, also they excreted from the Flesh, the EP. We have been working with him since then. But we just record everything individually and send all the tracks to Greg, and then he mixes and then master them.
So at the time that you're recording your own parts, do you have a sense of what the vocals are going to sound like, what the drums are going to sound like? Or do you only really know the guitars and your own bass parts?
Yeah, we have some ideas, but not very specific. We want us to be free with how we want to be sounded, our instrument-wise. So Tuna doesn't like triggers or clicky drum sound, so he wants it a bit more dirty. And I don't want my bass to sound so muddy, for example. But guitar tone, it's Mustafa's own tone, and I don't think Greg did anything on it besides the level. The tone, Mustafa did it himself. He recorded at his home. he has quite. I mean, he has quite a lot of equipment in his apartment. So his room looks like rehearsal room actually.
Do you guys do any rehearsing before you actually start recording for the album? Like, do you rehearse the songs together?
We meet a week or 5 days before the concert, and we rehearse every day and play the set. I mean, all together as a band. But Matthias, I, and Tuna, we meet twice a week nowadays and rehearse the songs because we have a show in January. And Mustafa will probably come here for 5 days before the concert, and so we can rehearse the songs a bit.
So Mustafa is still based in Turkey?
Yeah, he lives in Istanbul.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about working with Greg. How did you guys end up deciding to get him to mix and master the album?
I think he was working with Unegang, and as I remember, Tuna mentioned his name, and he said that he's a really good guy to work with, and he's quite fast, and he's good at what he's doing. And we just wrote him, and he knew us before, so that's how we worked with him, or we contacted with him.
Were there any releases that he's mixed or mastered that you guys particularly like?
I can't really remember, but I know Mustafa was mentioning some things, but I can't really remember 100%. Maybe one of Unegang's album. I don't remember which one it was. Yeah.
So there are a couple different labels who are handling the physical releases of Hideous Entity. Do you want to mention who those labels are and how they got in contact with you?
Mesako Unoho, we knew him since 2009. He released our old band Burial Invocation. And I really like Jesus. His name is Jesus. And we had been in contact since then. We kind of became friends. So we just told him that we have a band and called Hyperdontia, you want to release? And he was, yeah, let's do it. And the same with Dark Descent. We knew Matt from our Burial Invocation times. And so they put it together. And I have a label or something like a kind of hobby. I started Desiccated Productions. I started last year during lockdown, and then I did the tapes.
So I believe the CD version is going to be released by Dark Descent. The vinyl version is going to be released by Misako Unoho, and as you mentioned, you're doing the cassette.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, there have been a lot of production delays. A lot of bands have been experiencing production delays, especially on vinyl. Are you guys having any problems getting your vinyl?
Yeah, I mean, we were expecting this to be released in June or July, I think, because the album was done like in April, and we have been waiting since then. It was the same with Diabolizer. We waited about a year for Caledonian Death to be released. I don't know much what's going on, but yeah, it's been like this for a year or two.
But the vinyl is done now, right?
I haven't got it yet, but I think they started shipping them. Maybe, I don't know. I actually wrote Jesus this morning if there are any news about this, but I know that he's also stressed that people probably write him that where the vinyl are.
So Hideous Entity is out now.
Mm-hmm.
Malik, what's the best way to order the album? How can people get it?
Oh, they can order through Mesako Unoho Records website. They can order through mesakounoho.com or Dark Descent Records if they want to order CDs. And if they want to order cassettes, they can order through DesicatedProductions.com. We have actually our Hyperdontia page there. We also sell t-shirts, long sleeves, and all the stuff there too.
And you guys have a Bandcamp page too, right? In case people want to order or just get the digital version?
Yeah, they can order through Bandcamp too. It is hyperdontia.bandcamp.com or Hyperdontia official. I don't even remember, sorry.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I believe it's Hyperdontia official.
Yeah, the reason we stopped selling merch there, we live in Denmark and we have a lot of, tax things are very tight here. And I didn't want to get in trouble. I want everything to be sold at one place. And because I get all the money to my account, so I just put everything together. It's still the Hyperdontia's page if we go to the Decaying Productions page. And I also send digital download codes to people because a lot of people ask for it. So they can also download on Bandcamp for free.
It looks like Misako Unoho did a couple different versions of the vinyl. Do you want to say anything about the different versions?
I think he did 50 green, swamp green version, and the rest is black. And I'm sure he will do the second press, but I don't know when it's gonna be out. It's probably gonna take for a year or two.
And if people want to follow Hyperdontia online and keep up to date with what you guys are doing, what's the best way to do that?
They can follow us on Instagram or Facebook. We post everything related to our band on those platforms, social platforms.
So you mentioned something about playing shows. Do you guys have anything lined up or any plans for next year?
Yeah, we are playing in Copenhagen at Pumpehuset, where the Killtown Death Fest is holding on the 29th of January. And then we are going to play in 28th of January in Malmö in Sweden. And then in late August, we have a tour with Engulfed. We will tour in Europe about 2 weeks. Start from Copenhagen, probably.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Not really. Thanks. I've been a bit stressed with work, and people still like asking me questions in the background. And I have never done this kind of interview. That's why I was a bit nervous. Maybe you felt it. Sorry. And I hope I answered your questions in a way that you are satisfied with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This was great. Thank you so much, Malik.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Did Lewis Carroll write that intro?
I mean, it's a little bit of old English for the people at home.
What the fuck even just happened?